It's Ash from Super Videos, back for another video for Season 11 of The Walking Dead. In this video, we're going to be breaking down the official Season 11 trailer that they released during San Diego Comic-Con. There's tons of very intriguing and exciting things in this trailer, so we're gonna go through all of that. But do expect this video to be long because there was a lot of things in this trailer. Like, it was packed with material and subtle things here and there that I think most people may have missed. So with that said, stay tuned. We'll be right back to break it all down. Alright, for the sake of making this video shorter, I'll try not to do an intro, so you know the drill. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe and press the bell to be notified about uploads. Without further ado, let's dive right in. Alright, so this trailer starts with this shot of Alexandria. I think that's Magna sitting on the steps. This is from inside the council, which is the church at Alexandria. Aaron says Alexandria is our home. And then the next shot we have is actually Kelly, Magna, and probably others looking at these two horses riding away. These two horses will come back in a little bit, so keep them in mind. But in the voiceover, Maggie says what we have is rare, referring to the communities they've built and everything like that. And then we have this shot of inside the underground tunnels or the subway station that the survivors are gonna go to. We have someone with a flashlight there. We can't really see their face. And then we have this shot of Negan seeing something and saying holy shit, which is very intriguing. Not sure what he saw to make him react the way he did. And then we have this shot of Daryl outside. Not too much to say about this. And then we have this shot of Judith with other kids in the background. Judith has tears in her eyes, which is interesting. In the voiceover, Gabriel says, if we live for them, referring to the people that have been lost all these years. And then we have this shot of Rosita, Kelly, Magna, and Carol looking at something. This most likely connects to the earlier shot of the horses. And then we have this shot of everyone at Hilltop. They're watching the destruction that happened with Hilltop and everything. Obviously Jerry, Aaron, Carol, Lydia, and probably others. We have this interesting shot of Daryl covered in blood and mud and everything. In the voiceover, Aaron says we got to get through this together. Self-explanatory, no need to explain. And then we have this shot of Carol, Rosita, Kelly, and Magna coming across these horses. I think these are the same horses that they saw. They're killed. And I'm assuming the Reapers had something to do with this. Or maybe walkers, but one or the other. What's with the Walking Dead killing horses? I'm just saying. Anyway, the next shot we have is this shot of Rosita entering a building. We have Lydia and I think Magna in the background, but Rosita is shocked to see someone or something, which is interesting. And then we have this shot of the water tower that's around Alexandria with this walker, and then this shot of Aaron killing a walker, and then we have this very interesting shot. Now, obviously someone is getting their arm bit. Who is that? That looks like Daryl to me. I don't know about you, but that looks like Daryl. The knife gives it away. Now, do I really think that they're showing us Daryl be bit in the trailer? No, but I can't really think of what else this could be. So either they completely screwed up and showed us Daryl being bit here, or they're misleading us a little bit. It could be both, but this is extremely intriguing. And there's another shot later on in the trailer that connects to this. So keep this in mind because we're going to refer back to it. And then we have this shot of Carol shooting one of the walkers with this army uniform. This is most likely in the underground tunnels, and it connects to the picture that we saw with the helicopter and everything. And then we have this awesome shot of Negan holding Maggie back. Maggie's crying, saying no, no, no. So what happened? Who got bit? I'm assuming this connects to the shot of someone getting bit, right? So did Daryl really get bit? Remains to be seen, but this is extremely interesting. The fact that Maggie is this distraught and Negan is holding her back, I'm just saying. And then we have this shot of Rosita killing some walkers, and then Lydia killing walkers, and then Daryl killing a walker here. And then we have this shot of the survivors in the underground tunnels or subway station entering this train car. We know someone's gonna get left behind in one of these train cars. We don't know who it's gonna be. I have a prediction it's gonna be Alden, but I could be wrong. The person in the forefront is actually a new survivor we're gonna meet, who is a Commonwealth soldier. they're dressed in civilian clothing here. In the voiceover, Daryl says, "I don't leave anybody behind," which connects to what I just said. Someone's gonna get left behind. They're gonna go back to bring him or her out. And then we have this shot of Daryl with his crossbow, and then this shot of Carol. And then in the voiceover, Daryl says, "Not ever." This goes back to what he said, "I'm not leaving anyone behind." Carol's actually with Aaron here, and she's crying. So is this the aftermath of Daryl being bit? Remains to be seen. But everything seems to be connecting, so either they completely messed up with showing Daryl getting bit, or it's something else. And then we have this shot of a walker in the middle of the woods, this shot of Kelly on a horse in the middle of the woods, this shot of Magna talking to Kelly saying, "Do you want to talk about it?" Most likely referring to the situation with Connie and everything. And then we have Kelly looking at a note that Connie most likely left behind, which says, "Trapped with dead, walked with them for days, no light, no food, little water." So that's a sign for Kelly that Connie is alive. We know she's alive because we saw her, but now they know she's alive too. The next shot we have is Kelly reacting to the note that she saw, and then this shot of Connie and Virgil running towards what appears to be another walker. Obviously, we know that Virgil found Connie, so it makes sense why they're together. The next shot we have is this shot of Connie with her hands on the wall. She's being pushed against the wall, which is interesting. We don't know exactly what Virgil's intentions are, whether he plans to do with Connie the same thing that he did with Michonne or not, so obviously we're gonna have to wait and see. And then we have this shot of Eugene, and then in the voiceover someone says, "We need to start thinking about other options." I didn't recognize the voice, but it could be someone we know, but I'm assuming it's someone from Commonwealth. I could be wrong, obviously. The next shot we have is actually this shot of Mercer looking at a prisoner. It looks like Mercer is gonna beat the holy hell out of this person. Was that a Negan reference? It absolutely was. And then we have this shot of Commonwealth soldiers walking Princess and Ezekiel to their holding cell. And then this shot of Aaron and Carol. They don't look too happy, so something must have happened. I think that's Lydia on the left. I could be wrong. Not exactly sure where they are, but this is interesting. In the voiceover, I think it's Aaron who says Alexandria needs us. And then we have Maggie reloading the rifle here, super badass, and then she starts shooting all of these walkers with military gear. And then we have this shot of walkers beside a house, not exactly sure who's inside, but then we have this shot of Alden killing a walker, and then in the voiceover Aaron says, "It's everything we have," referring to what he just said. All we have is Alexandria, that's pretty much it. And then we have this shot of Gabriel shooting, most likely walkers, with the shotgun. And then we have this shot of Elijah killing walkers with his weapon, using his ninja skills. And then we have this shot of a lot of walkers, and then this shot of Aaron saying, "So you're leaving to fight ghosts." There's a typo there, but I'm assuming Aaron is talking to Carol here. It kind of makes sense because Aaron was with Carol in the previous shot that we looked at. And the fact that Aaron is saying, "Are you fighting ghosts or leaving to fight ghosts?" is very reminiscent of the Carol storyline, because obviously there was an episode in season 9, or was it season 10, called Ghosts, where Carol was seeing things, so it kind of connects to that. And then we have this shot of Carol talking to Aaron, I think, still. And then Carol says, "This is a path you don't want to go down," which is very interesting. Not exactly sure what this is about. But then we have this shot of Daryl saying, "I've done worse." Now, they want you to think that Carol was talking to Daryl, but Carol was actually talking to Aaron. So what Daryl is saying here is related to something completely different. But obviously, we can see he's carrying a knife and he has blood on his arm. This is the shot that I said could connect to the shot of someone getting their arm bit. So that's another sign that it's Daryl, because this is actually Daryl. And then obviously he's looking at a Reaper with dog. So a Reaper's got dog, which is extremely interesting. And then we have this shot of Maggie lighting a lighter. And then we have this shot of everyone running. And then this shot of Daryl throwing like some sort of a knife, killing this Reaper here. Gabriel responds to what Daryl did, looking at what Daryl just did and who he killed. And then we have this shot of a Reaper killing someone, probably a survivor, we don't know. The blade hits the tree here. And then we have this shot of Reapers in the middle of the street. This is most likely part of the brawl that we might see between the survivors and the Reapers. Obviously, that's Pope at the forefront, who we think at this point is the leader of the Reapers. But in the voiceover, someone says, these people, they won't stop. I think it's Acheron, but I could be wrong. Referring to the Reapers, obviously. And then we have this shot of Knife. Not too much to say about this. And then we have someone kicking down this door. And then this shot, I'm assuming these are Reapers entering some sort of a building where their survivors are staying at. And then we have this shot of Maggie throwing a knife. And then this shot of Jerry and Carol killing walkers. And then this shot of a weird walker. This reminds me of the Well Walker, which is pretty interesting. And then we have this shot of Ezekiel fighting off some walkers. It's interesting that he's by himself. Maybe he ran away from the Commonwealth. And then we have this shot of Eugene wearing what I can only describe as maybe a prisoner uniform, or probably something that the Commonwealth make people wear who are in a work camp or something along those lines. And then we have this shot of Reapers dragging someone away. That's actually Daryl. So the Reapers are dragging Daryl away. Interesting. There's a sack on Daryl's head, so that's interesting. Now, I don't see blood on the arm, so make of that whatever you want in terms of how this connects to the shot of someone getting their arm bit. And then we have this shot of flames going everywhere, and then this shot of a Reaper, same Reaper that had Dog, if you remember. And then we have this shot of Maggie, and then this shot of someone shooting Dog dead. Very interesting. And then Daryl reacts to that, screaming no. And then we have this shot of a blade going through some sort of a barrier between Connie and an area. Not exactly sure who does this, whether it's Virgil or someone else, but this is also an interesting shot. But then we have this shot of Gabriel saying, "Don't be scared, I'm not." Awesome thing to say. Not exactly sure who he's talking to. We have this awesome shot of Mercer at Commonwealth with a Commonwealth military sign in the background. And then we have this shot of Ezekiel, and then this shot of a walker tied to a tree. They're burned and everything, so that's also very interesting. Then we have this shot of flames going everywhere and Daryl looking at the group. Not exactly sure what this is about, but this is interesting. And then we have this shot of what I'm assuming is one of the Reapers that we saw crawling towards somewhere. And then in the voiceover, Gabriel says, "God isn't here anymore." Pretty awesome and badass thing to say for Gabriel. Out of all people, Gabriel saying this is interesting. And then we have this shot of Rosita and Carol looking at something. And then this shot of someone upside down tied to something. I'm assuming this is the doing of the Reapers. But in the voiceover, Negan says this is a death march, which I think connects to what we saw in the sneak peek, where they were talking about the sea of dead people in the underground tunnels. And then we have this shot of a bunch of walkers and the group walking through them. These are probably the walkers that all of them killed. We saw a bit of that earlier in the trailer. And then we have this shot of Connie and Virgil together. And then Negan in the voiceover saying, "And you are the damn Pied Piper." So it's a death march and you're the Pied Piper. So it looks like it all connects to what I said about Negan and Maggie having some disagreements. And then we have this shot of Maggie in a train cart, some sort of light in hand. And then we have this shot of Maggie in the voiceover. Gabriel says, "You're paranoid." I'm assuming Gabriel is talking to Negan. And then Negan says, "But I'm right." So that's interesting. And then we have this shot of, I think, Ezekiel looking through cracks. And then this shot of Maggie holding onto a ladder or something. And then she falls. Don't tell me that they showed us Maggie and Daryl dying in the trailer. I doubt it. I don't think Maggie's dead here. But with Daryl, it's a little different because there's more signs pointing towards the fact that Daryl gets bit. But again, we're gonna have to wait and see what they do. And then we have this shot of someone in the middle of the road, not exactly sure who it is. And then we have this shot of someone in the underground tunnel. And then Maggie in the voiceover says, "I lost something and I don't think that's a bad thing that I did." She may be talking about the community that she lost. I don't think she's talking about Glenn or anything here. But then we have this shot of Negan and Maggie holding someone and walking them somewhere. That could be Daryl or someone else. It's whoever is bit, let's just say that, which is interesting. And then we have this shot of a Whisper mask. You may be asking, aren't the Whispers done? And you're right, they're done, but something interesting happens, which I'll talk about. But in the voiceover, Negan says, "I did what needed to be done," referring to helping the Whispers. I don't think Negan is talking about killing Glenn here. I think he's talking about doing what he did with the Whispers to get rid of them. And then we have this shot of a destroyed hilltop. Lydia and Carol there as well. And then in the voiceover, Maggie says, "You destroyed everything that we built," which connects to what Negan said, because obviously the reason why Hilltop is destroyed is because of what Negan did, helping the Whispers in that battle. And then we have this shot of more destruction at Hilltop, walkers walking in, and then Magna hugging Carol, most likely connected to the whole Connie situation and the fact that Carol was the reason why Connie went through what she did. And then we have this shot of Ezekiel, and then this shot of Judith pointing her katana at someone. Extremely interesting, not sure what to make of that. And then this shot of the kids training, a pretty cute shot of them. And then we have this shot of Magna, Kelly, and Carol down on the ground. This is obviously at Alexandria. And then we have this shot of what appears to be walkers getting inside Alexandria. We have a body on the ground, someone we don't know. And then the group starts running to kill the walkers. And then Jerry kills this one walker in a cool way. This actually reminded me of the way that Rick killed that one walker in that trailer for season 9, I think. So it's cool that this is reminiscent of that. And then we have this shot of walkers getting into Alexandria because the wall is down. And then we have this shot of Negan and Maggie killing walkers together. Very interesting. Maybe they're killing the walker that bit that guy's arm. Maybe it was Daryl, maybe it wasn't. And then we have this shot of Maggie screaming and running towards somewhere. And then we have this shot, an interesting shot of Negan giving, I think, a gun to Maggie. Negan says the only way that this works is if we trust each other. Maggie grabs the gun from Negan's hand. Interesting, to say the least. And then we have this awesome shot of Daryl inside the train car killing walkers with his gun. And then we have this shot of walkers getting killed. And then this shot of survivors in the train car killing walkers. And then in the voiceover, Negan says, "So what do you say?" or asking what do you say about what he just said about trusting each other and everything. This shot of Maggie and Negan killing walkers together. Again, very interesting. And then we have the title card at the beginning. And then we have this shot of Daryl saying, "If you say trust him, I trust him." I think this is referring to Negan. And then we have this shot of Yumiko looking at the wall of missing people at Commonwealth, where she most likely finds a note left behind by her brother. We talked a lot about this, so I'm not going to talk about it here because this video is already very long. And then we have this awesome shot of Negan killing walkers inside the train car with his gun. This is the same gun that we saw earlier, Maggie grabbing from Negan. So that's pretty interesting. Now, I made a theory based on this, saying that maybe there's a thing going on with Negan and Alden at this point. Maybe that's not the case because there's tons of other stuff happening to a point where if they do end up doing the Alden Negan thing that I did a video on, it'll be chaotic. It'll be too much, you know what I mean? So I don't think at this point that's where they're going with it. And then we have the title card of End, so the beginning of the end. And then we have this shot of Maggie and others next to the house, the same house that we saw the Reapers kicking the door down. In the voiceover, we have Maggie saying the woman who left is not the one standing here now. Pretty badass and awesome thing to say by Maggie. And then we have this shot of Maggie in some sort of a building. And then this shot of Maggie taking off a Whisper mask. So the Whisper mask we saw is this one. She made her own freaking Whisper mask. What? That's interesting. That's all I'm gonna say. Do I like this? Not really. Does it look cool? Absolutely. But in the voiceover she says, "So keep pushing me, Negan." So there's a lot of tension between Maggie and Negan. Let's see where that leads. And then we have this awesome shot of Maggie pointing a gun to Negan, saying, "Please, keep pushing me, Negan." And then Daryl in the background. Now, what we saw earlier with Negan giving the gun to Maggie could be Negan telling Maggie to just execute him or something like that, but it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with them and where we go from there. And then we have an after scene, not sure if that's what you call it, but after the Walking Dead logo comes on and everything, we have this final shot of a TV screen, and then we have inside the Commonwealth, which is pretty awesome. So we have a train station here, we have a train car in the background, which makes sense because that's where the Commonwealth took the survivors to when they captured them. But this is inside Commonwealth, which is awesome. And then we have this awesome, cool, exciting shot of Lance Hornsby introducing himself with Commonwealth soldiers standing there and the slogan in the background. For non-comic readers, Lance Hornsby is the bookkeeper for Commonwealth. And then we have this shot of him saying, "Welcome to the Commonwealth," which is a pretty awesome tease at the Commonwealth. But that's pretty much everything that I wanted to go through. I don't want to make this video longer, so if you enjoyed, make sure to share and smash the like button. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe and press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video.